right, welcome to the Scarlet Faithful podcast. I'm Aaron Brightman. This is my rapid reaction following Rutgers' 83-61 victory over LIU on Saturday afternoon, December 16th, a week after defeating Seton Hall in its last game, week break during finals, and Rutgers is still in the middle of that. They won't play for another week now. They host absolutely huge neutral court game against Mississippi State. That's a quad one game. That is their, on paper, toughest non-conference schedule opponent this year. We'll talk about that more later. But this in-between game was LIU, ranked in the 300s in KenPom, not good at all. And they were 1-8 coming in. Unfortunately, did let them hang around a bit. They were 341st coming in. Rutgers was 74th. KenPom had Rutgers winning by 23. They won by 22. It did get a little dicey there in the second half. Rutgers was up big, about 15 points. Cliff was off the floor just in a substitution, and the way the flow of the game was going. They couldn't get him back in for a couple minutes. They went 5 minutes without a field goal, and LIU cut the lead to 7 points. So I've always said, in these kind of games, if you can be tested and still win big, I do think that's a positive. And I know everybody wanted a 40-point win tonight for the net rankings. That helps when you win by margin of victory is a big part of net, right or wrong. Iowa has shown that over the years. When you beat these, really bad opponents by 30, 35 points at home, it does help. And Rutgers did miss out on that opportunity today. They could have won a lot bigger. They shot really poorly from three-point range, just 4 of 20. LIU is holding opponents to 28% from three this year, which is pretty interesting. It's kind of an outlier in terms of their defense. They're not good defensively at all. 292nd coming in, but they're 31st in three-point defense at 28.7%. Rutgers was just 4 of 20. They did shoot really well from two-point range. They were 61.7%, which was encouraging. And on layups, they were 15 of 23, 6 of 8 on dunks. So 21 of 31 on layups and dunks. That's almost 70%. That's pretty good. That's what they should do against an opponent like LIU. Cliff was dominant, as he should be. 25 points, 11 rebounds, 3 blocks. He was 12 of 15 from the floor. But Rutgers struggled from three. They were just 4 of 20. They hit some late in the game, and it was both Mag and Hyatt. Mag and Hyatt both hit 2 late. It was great to see Mag get going. I think that is an encouraging sign. He had 2 threes later in the game, finished with 10 of 4, 3 assists, was his usual productive self on the defensive end. He had 2 blocks and a steal, was plus 21 on the day, second best on the team. Best was actually Derek Simpson at plus 23. These are plus minus margins, which define when you're on the court, the score of the game when you're playing. So, sometimes it's a little lucky, sometimes it's not. Simpson did struggle, 2 of 7 from the floor, but was 6 of 6 from the foul line. Rutgers again struggling from the foul line, 13 of 26. Griffiths was just 2 of 5. Davis was just 2 of 5. Mag was 0 of 3. Wolf was 1 of 3. So it adds up. I know people want to freak out about free throw percentage. I know people probably, there's somebody that's going to take away something negative from this game. But again, back to my long-winded point. You're up 7 with about 7 minutes to go, and you're being tested. And Rutgers responded. They responded with an 11-0 run. That's what you need to see. And I really do think getting tested in different random parts of this schedule will help you down the road. Now, what I don't like about these games is that, Rutgers dominated in ways they're not going to be able to dominate against Big Ten competition, right? So the way they beat Seton Hall is the way they're going to have to win in the Big Ten. And they didn't shoot particularly well from three today. But, I think you saw some individual performances that were encouraging. Jamichael Davis, I thought, played really well in the second half. He gave them a big lift. He finished with 12 points, 5 of 11 shooting, 3 assists, 0 turnovers. Also had 4 boards and 2 steals. He was plus 20. He was the third best on the team, played 29 minutes. So another encouraging outing for him. That's a big plus. Like I said, Mag gave him good minutes tonight, 24 minutes, 10 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, and a steal. A little bit of everything from him. Cliff was dominant, like I said. Hyatt, very good performance, 12 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks. He was plus 14. He's just, he's been much more consistent this year, and he showed up in a way that was important today. He's showing leadership, and it's a really important thing. And then also Derek Simpson did have 10 points. Like I said, he was very good from the line. He did have 4 rebounds, 3 assists, just 1 turnover, 2 steals. So he had a productive game for sure. Gavin, 3-9 from the field, was 0-4 from deep, did finish with 8 points, got him 3 steals as well. So that was encouraging. I think, with Gavin, the thing is he's got to get stronger. He even had some moves. He has some great moves. He's very polished offensively, but even against LIU, he struggled to finish inside in certain spots where he just wasn't strong enough to finish. So I think that's going to be the biggest thing from year 1 to year 2 for him, is getting stronger. And then I think next year you're going to see him at a whole nother level, because he is really polished offensively. He's going to have good shooting nights. I think when he doesn't shoot well from 3, he is going to struggle a little bit scoring wise, I think, in the Big Ten. But this experience so far has been good for him, and he's going to learn ways to score. He's just a natural scorer. He's going to figure that out. Again, I thought that Mag, Davis, Hyatt all provided really good minutes for them tonight. And Austin Williams missed the game. He was not on the injury report, but did not play. They have another week now. Hopefully they can get him healthy. I think they're going to need him for Mississippi State. What did Wolf give him? Wolf gave him 5 and 3 in just 10 minutes of action. Oscar didn't play much at all. Trying to see if I missed anybody. Noah struggled, 0-6 from the floor. Just had a point. Did have 4 assists, but did have 3 turnovers as well. So he was forcing a little bit. Did not look particularly good. And you're going to have that. You're going to have that. And I think that all in all, Rutgers did pull away, and they haven't had a bad loss yet. And I think that's key. You have Stonehill right before the new year. You actually are going to have some quad 4 games in Big Ten play with Maryland and Penn State, but you have to avoid the bad losses. We saw last year the committee rewards teams that doesn't have bad losses, and they had a basically, metrically almost identical resume to Providence last year, but Providence didn't have any bad losses. They didn't have any good wins either outside of the Big Ten. They had 3 elite wins in conference play, but non-conference, their best win was Ryder, but they didn't have any bad losses. So if Rutgers can get through this, listen, if they could beat Mississippi State on a neutral court next week, they are a high quad 1. They're in the 20s. What are they, KenPom? Let's see. Mississippi State is 34th in KenPom. They are 8-2 overall, and they play North Texas tomorrow, who's pretty good. North Texas is 84 in KenPom, so that'll be interesting to see what happens. They have a terrible loss to Southern, and they have a bad loss to Georgia Tech on the road. But otherwise, they have some good wins. They beat Washington State, who's 47th. They beat Northwestern. They beat Arizona State, all top 100 teams. Tulane's right outside the top 100. Beat them as well. So very defensive team. It's a game that Rutgers should absolutely, be right in. And if they can replicate some shooting, get hot from 3, I think they definitely. Listen, they can win that game, and they need to win that game. If you win that game and you beat Stonehill, you're 9-3 going back into Big Ten play, going into the new year. No bad losses. Metrically, you're metrics wise, you're going to be good. And I think that's really important for this team, because I think the Big Ten's wide open, and I think Rutgers has a chance to make some noise. I really do. Not really surprising that this wasn't their most inspiring performance today. First game in a week. They're in the middle of exams. The student section was, good as usual, but, the hype, listen, the energy level against LIU, it's tough to replicate after you're coming off a rivalry game against Seton Hall. And, that's going to be up to the leadership. And again, at the end of the day, they took care of business. So I think that, you want to see this team continue to share the basketball. I thought they did that really well when they put the game out of reach. And that's obviously a positive sign. I like that Davis was being aggressive. I think he was being aggressive while being under control. You're seeing growth there. You're seeing Cliff play with an edge. You're seeing the defense. They forced, was it 19 turnovers today? And they had 15 points off of turnovers. Let's see. They had, forced 19 turnovers, 22 points off of 19 turnovers, 22 at 11 edge there. They were plus 10 on the boards. They were plus 7 on second chance points. They were plus 24 on points in the paint. They 15 to 10 in transition. They did have 18 assists to 33 field goals, so that's encouraging for sure. And, definitely some signs that, like I said, they scored inside. They're at 1.15 points per possession, which is very good analytics-wise. And then in terms of LIU, they held them, just 0.824. So metrics-wise, they did well today. I know people were hoping for a 40-point win against, to help with the net, but they'll jump in the net for sure. And listen, they have to win the games they have to. And this game on Saturday against Mississippi State is such a huge X factor in the season, just in terms of what it will mean. It will be their, best win of the season. It'll be a featured non-conference win. It'll be a neutral court win. It'll put them 2-2 in neutral road games. It'll really set them up for if you go out and, the Big Ten's not particularly strong. So, 10-10. And 9-2, you would think 19-12, win a game in the Big Ten, you're probably in. But I don't think this year that's a guarantee. So you need a winning record in the Big Ten. You got to win 11 games. I think so. That 9-2 record in non-conference with that Mississippi State win, it's a huge game for what it means for their resume. And they have a week to prepare now. They're going to get done with the semester. Hopefully, get a little healthier. You have, Mag really starting to work off the rust. By the way, people that were asking me even as late as yesterday, Jeremiah Williams, he's still waiting on the ruling from the NCAA on the gambling investigation. So even though the two-time transfer rule is kaput, he can't play until the NCAA rules on this gambling investigation. There's no timetable. Hopefully it's, soon. It could be, but it's the NCAA. You can't count on anything. So he would be a boost for this team as well. This team is evolving. I'm not surprised by how they played today at all. At the end of the day, if you want to criticize a 22-point win, that's fine. They shot pretty poorly, outside of other than inside the arc. But again, they shot well inside the arc. That's progress. And this team just has to keep getting better. They got to keep gelling. They got to keep playing hard on both ends of the floor. They're rebounding much better with Mag now. And there's some encouraging signs for sure. Critical game next week. But overall, this team is in position 7-3, 6-3 now non-conference. Excuse me, 7-2 non-conference. I'm getting confused. It's been a long week, but you have a chance to close 9-2. If you said before the season they went 9-2 in non-conference, you take it. 8-3 at worst, you take it. So, like I said, huge game coming up. Definitely some things to not love about today's performance, but again, they responded when they had to. In years past, when this game could have gotten really, really twitchy and concerning, Rutgers took care of business. Pikel called a really good timeout to do that, and Mag responded. You had Hyatt respond. You had your 4th, 5th, 6-year guys respond. You had Jamichael Davis continue to play well. You had Cliff to continue to play with an edge. There's things to build on with this team, and they just got to keep doing that. So overall, good day. And all looking forward to next week, next Saturday at the Rock, noon against Mississippi State. I'll have plenty of coverage before then. We have early signing period this week. I have a few interviews lined up. I think, I have a really great one with Tony Rasiopi, the QB trainer who's trained AJ Cerise and a bunch of NFL quarterbacks. I'll have that coming up on in the next day or two, and some other things planned as well. So thank you for your continued listening and watching of the Scarlet Faithful podcast here. Hope you have a great rest of the weekend. And thanks for listening once again.